thought.
I'm not saying I'm qualified to vote for president. I'm just saying that not everyone is. All right. If you make the test hard enough, I can't pass it. I won't argue with you. I won't say I am too smart enough to decide who's president. I won't argue with you.
There should be more questions about Rome on this test.
There should be.
There should be a few about Rome. I think they're pretty pertinent. The fall of the greatest empire of all time. There we were with hot running water, and then we went to the Dark Ages and like rubbing boiled down horse urine in our wounds for 1,000 fucking years. So it's a good idea to look at Rome if you're going to be voting. I'd like someone who knew the consequences of a failed republic. I'd like someone who knew the consequences of the most powerful power in not just a region, but now a globe failing.
I was only half joking, but yeah, it makes sense, especially as America. I think we're the current reigning empire. I think you could say that. And to sort of know what happened to England, what happened to Rome, how these things get bigger and smaller, and help make better decisions.
Rome just kept overextending itself towards the end of its existence, funding tons of foreign wars. You know,
based on what I learned from TV, it was a love triangle gone awry.
I'm pretty sure there was some immigration and some infrastructure issues too.
No,
I don't think they had a wall at all.
Huh, I think you're right. I bet they had a ton of walls.
They had the Hadrian's Wall.
They did. They had Hadrian's Wall up in England.
Well, because I've never heard of it, I'm not sure it's true.
It's still there.
It is.
Like that's proof.
Hadrian himself placed every stone.
He did. Stonewall Jackson was one of his first in his command there, if I remember correctly.
I finished Rome, the TV series. You were right. Oh my God. When you said it moved really quickly, I thought the first season moved really quickly. The first season ended in the way that I thought the whole thing would end. Like, what even is season 2? Well, sure enough, season 2 is pretty cool. And man, those last 3 episodes covered 2/3 of the story. Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah, it's a shame that didn't get. If that came out now, I would bet it would be wildly popular. It's shocking to me. You can tell, like, when some sort of global algorithm gets triggered by a subject. Right now, it is Rome. Like whatever that was recently,
TikTok,
where someone on TikTok like brought up that topic that I asked my boyfriend how much he talks about Rome, and he answered this, and then it just exponentially grew until like Netflix and Hulu started recommending me Roman-based things. Netflix is like, hey, here's a series we made 2 years ago that's like 6 parts of Roman blah blah blah. Okay, why not? Like there's no way that's a coincidence. It's happening. I guarantee in Hollywood that algorithm, a bell went ding 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 ding. What's that? It's the Make a Rome movie bell. All right, who wants to do it? It's being made or written right now. The next Roman-based movie, it'll happen in 3 or 4 years, and it'll be fucking cool. I love that as a historical topic. I love it as movies and TV shows. Yeah, I wish Gladiator had been a whole goddamn universe. You know,
is there another empire as cool as Rome? Like, was Greece anywhere near that cool? Or
yeah, I mean,
Ottoman Empire.
The Romans stole all the Greeks' ideas.
They optimized them.
That's where if you see Caesar Octavian. That's what Caesar Octavian's doing. Like when he's a boy, that his mother's like, "Stop reading all about those old dirty Greeks. They were all boy buggerers anyway. Now, have you had any gash yet?" No, mother. I have plenty of time to get gash.
A man of your age should have had a dozen slave girls' gashes by now.
That's like
what is?
I'm
what
not
is
exaggerating much.
What's the joke? Like the Greeks invented sex, and then the Romans discovered you could do it with women. Something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And the Greeks actually get like more of that. Like they weren't as gay.
They have the
as
reputation
people
for being...
say. Yeah, that was like an insult. They would like the Spartans would make fun of the Athenians being like a bunch of boy-loving buggerers or whatever the words were back then.
Yeah,
still was going on.
They did in the movies that I've
not
watched.
To like what our idea of it is today, where it's like, oh yeah, the Greeks just like totally cool.
I'm sure there's plenty of gay people and like getting down in all kinds of ways. The Romans were just perverse, and all the way up to their leadership. You know, you would see. There's even that scene in Rome where the guy's like, "I've heard that you Romans would have a baboon fuck a woman," and he's like, "Yes, we we sometimes will have baboons fuck a woman. I believe it's no more difficult than training the baboon and restraining the woman. And the guy, it's usually reserved as a punishment, though. And the man is like, I would like to see this. I would like to see a baboon fuck a woman. He's like, well, steps can be taken, certainly, but the matter at hand is it's just like, yeah, sure, dude. We'll get you your baboon fucking like after negotiations. Like, come on, let's move along. And
even then, back in those days, I feel like those guys had to have been like, really, the baboon fucking guy. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to go to the Coliseum?
No, that's what they did in the
fucking
Coliseum.
Again.
That's what they did in the Coliseum. They would have baboon fucking in the Coliseum. All right, first of all,
think so.
All right, I love when you say things like this, and I ask you if you want to bet because I know you're wrong, and you refuse to bet, and then Zach looks it up, and then you go, baboon fucking in the Coliseum.
All right, Zach, look up baboon fucking in the Coliseum. There's no way.
Are baboons at all native to that area?
So let me just say this. One of the flexes that the Roman Empire would do to like keep its people, we're taxing them a lot for this big military we have. It's very expensive because it's an organized military that you feed. And like, what do you do for a living? I'm a fucking soldier. I show up to the post and I serve there for, 5 years at a time. You got to and you pay them in gold, right? So to show the people and to pay them off for this, they would bring back from Africa and from all the way to England and Europe, the bears, the lions, the monsters of those lands that they conquered, the elephants, and bring them home as during their triumphs and be like, look how powerful we are. We brought these baboons home to fuck women. Nothing about baboon rape. I'm
read it, Taylor. Read it out loud.
Let's bet $1,000. There's nothing, though, about baboon rape. There's also nothing to actually indicate that the reenactment Marshall alludes to was anything but a dude in a bull costume mounting someone in a pacific costume. No rape involved and probably no actual intercourse given the constraints of visibility within the Coliseum. Words from my mouth, basically, is what I. So
Google this. We're forced bestiality Coliseum.
You're really
because I'm positive it's true. If that doesn't work, maybe lose the Coliseum and just do Romans, because that was kind of like what. I mean, if the first thing doesn't work, I'm almost positive that they use this as a form of execution. Like they would have a horse rape a woman to death.
You've been taking a bunch of Derek's, dream supplements. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
This isn't something that you had a fever dream about that you were just excited.
This diet consists of mushrooms and pot.
Yeah, mushrooms.
They definitely did.
That wouldn't even be as entertaining. As like just from entertainment perspective, do you want to see a bunch of the Retiarius fighting the
you'd have
shield
a variety
guy?
Of things, Taylor. Like you don't want all of look different
variety
channels.
Is the spice of life.
It was just like television. Like one day you'd have women being executed by rape of donkey or whatever, and then the next day we'll recreate that old what's the myth about the guy who like the eagle comes down and eats his liver every day and it regenerates? Is that Greek or Roman? You would think it's Roman because I know they recreated it.
Yeah, I think
they trained the birds to come down and
they did rip a lot of their stuff from the Greeks. Not even inventing their
bird to eat a man's liver. That's
I don't think they did that.
I bet they did that too.
No, because yes.
Zach, also fact check that at one point birds were trained to eat men's liver as to recreate I can't remember if it's Greek or Roman, but the mythological god, nonsense, theological myth of that occurring.
Because there's no way you could. The bird's gonna eat whatever's in front of it. As soon as it's done with the liver, it's gonna be eating your kidneys or whatever else the dead guy has.
We're not talking about what it does later. We're talking about for the show of it all. Like, what does it come down to do? And I say they trained a bird to eat a man's liver on command.
If it was eating liver on command, does it definitely?
Thank you. Yeah, it was Prometheus' punishment for giving fire to man. They did that to him.
Which big ups to Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that fire, man. Prometheus was punished by Zeus. Yeah, but did the Romans recreate that? In real life in the Colosseum? And also, where are we on this animal rape as punishment? Because I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
I think you're wrong, and I think we should bet.
Animal rape is fake.
Ooh,
I've seen
that's been snoped.
I've seen multiple sources.
What sources? What websites are you on?
Motherless, Pornhub, lots of sources.
Yes. Yeah, there was a gentleman on eFucked and he wouldn't steer me the wrong direction.
No, I mean like watch. I feel like I've watched not just the Rome TV show, but like I feel like I've watched historical.
There were no cameras back then, Kyle.
Yeah,
of course there are no cameras, but
there's a reenactment you're watching.
I'm not talking about videos I've watched. They were all dressed in togas and shit, man. I'm telling you.
And then at the end, some lady came in, got naked, and some guy fucked her.
This is like
he was a plumber or something.
If I have truly been misled, which I am not admitting until I've done thorough research after the show,
admit it.
I'm sure that I've watched YouTube videos that were like talking about like ancient Rome was more perverse than you can imagine. Emperor Commodus would order women to be raped by donkeys for his.
Up next, was Hitler an alien?
No, not those kind of videos.
The Nazis' secret occult pact with the devil.
I don't watch those anymore.
They got you too many times where you're like, wait a minute.
No.
They just didn't have enough footage to make another Nazi war documentaries, and now they're like doing stills and smash cuts of demon and like Beelzebub heads.
I'm standing by this forced animal rape by the Romans as punishment and or execution. Or perhaps as a party favor. I will get to the bottom of it. Zach is clearly in on some sort of lie to make me look silly. And I'll get to the bottom of that too. I'll root out any conspirators, Taylor, and do nothing about it.
Then do nothing about it. Well, either way, Zach, Operation Kyle Fool is complete.
One of the times that I remember I've talked about it before, but my teacher just went on and on about the Spartans, and it was this inspiring moment in my childhood education where I thought of him as my favorite teacher, and it turns out everything he taught me was like sort of lies and not.
What did he teach you?
Well, it was the Spartan stuff about the way their lives went and stuff, and it turned out a lot of that wasn't exactly true. Or at least I see sources now that suggest that it was not.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The like over the top like pederasty stuff.
Yeah, the over the top like militarized society and like the agoge, we're 7 years old, you're drug away and you're in the army till you're 45 or whatever. Like all that crazy and the craziness of the training, that he was very specific about that. Anyway. YouTube has led me to believe that much of that was exaggerated or just outright lies. Spartan propaganda, it turned out.
It could be. I mean,
that lived on to the 20th century.
They would definitely want their enemies to believe that they were like insane warrior people, even if it was kind of a bit of an exaggeration. They were warrior oriented.